3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, my name is Kieran and we are back once again on the channel for a match preview, a quarter-final match preview. Yeah, we're playing Norwich City in the FA Cup tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what time, probably should have researched that. 5:30 I've just been told, so yeah, 5:30 in the FA Cup. No fans there of course, but playing at Carrow Road, and I'm looking forward to it. Before we get into it, as always, please do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. That's very much appreciated. And yeah, we're just going to be going through my predictions for the game, my predicted lineup, and also anything that you guys have to say as well. So make sure you get your thoughts and opinions heard in the live chat as we go through today's preview. And obviously, we're playing Norwich City. Norwich City, we're going to talk a bit about them in just a second. Dazza, how are you doing, Dazza? Welcome to the stream, mate. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out his channel as well. Really good stuff. Dazza's Football Stand, as you can see there in the live chat. For me, Norwich, they're obviously rooted to the bottom of the Premier League table. Haven't had a good season of it at all so far. And in some ways, you could argue their priorities will be lying elsewhere for this game. Even though they've got quite a big task anyway to get out of that bottom three, they've still got a little bit of hope. If they were to go on a ridiculous win streak, then I reckon they would probably do it. But they'd have to rely on results going their way as well. So Norwich, I think for me, are all but down. So obviously, as I said, you know, that means that their motivation might be to like really focus on the Premier League. But in some ways, if they do believe that they have a better chance of winning the FA Cup than staying up, they might actually try and go hell for leather in the FA Cup and see where they can get into a cup final, because that would be a huge lift for the fans. It happened obviously with Wigan when they played Man City in the cup final, and they beat Man City as well after Ben Watson goal, so that was obviously, you know, good from a Man United fan point of view. But obviously they went down in that season, so it was a bit of a it was a bit of an up and down season really. Obviously for Wigan it's great for them to win a trophy, but at the same time, is this quiet by the way? It seems kind of quiet. Why is it's so quiet? I don't know why it's so quiet, but anyway, I might have to hold the mic a bit closer because it seems like it's coming out pretty quietly on the stream, which is really weird. I don't know why that's happening. Like I'll have to speak right into the mic to get it to get the audio up or whatever. But anyway, Dazza says 3-0 win, very confident for this game. I think a lot of people are very confident for the game, and why wouldn't you be? Obviously the way we played against Sheffield United, and the way Norwich are playing, realistically on paper we should be getting the win easy out of this game, but it's not really how football works. Obviously football's not played on paper, so it's not gonna be as easy as that, but I mean it could be as easy as that. I just don't see it. He also says I think Ole will rest a lot of the first team players in this game with Brighton game up and coming. Yeah, look, I think there will be a lot of players rested, and that is what has been reflected in my predicted lineup. I think especially with the congestion that is coming with these Premier League fixtures, I think we play again on Tuesday after this, so a lot of games coming thick and fast, and we need to focus on the Premier League I think primarily right now. Obviously we've still got the Europa League to potentially get into the top four, but I think looking at it, it might be better to focus on the Premier League, because we're not out of the woods in that one yet. We're not out of the top four race just yet. Obviously Chelsea winning their game against Man City, handing Liverpool the title. We're not going to dwell on that in this stream, but obviously, you know, it would have been very, very good for us if Man City were to get the job done there. They didn't, and it's proven to be a very detrimental result to us. Obviously, Chelsea are now going 5 points clear. I think a lot of United fans were confident that you know, we could have got some points. We could have gained some points on Chelsea this weekend, especially after what happened against Sheffield United. But it wasn't the case, and you know, that's what happens when you rely on other people's results. You always end up, or those sort of results will happen, which is unfortunate, but hey ho, we've got to get on with it. And yeah, look, in these sort of title races, you've got to, not title races, in these sort of, you know, when you're chasing a team, you just got to focus on yourself, and that's all we can do really. Just focus on what we have to do, and if we do that, And if we win all our games, I think we've got a strong chance of getting into that top 4. So I'm hoping that we do, have a good run towards the end of the season. If we play like we did, obviously, against Sheffield United, then for the rest of the season, then I think we will have a good run towards the end of the season. So hopefully we do. But you never know. Obviously, you've got clubs getting injuries and things like that. That could be really detrimental to our cause. But we got to hope that we do that. But back to this fixture, obviously an FA Cup quarter-final, a chance to go to Wembley for Manchester United as well. It's a big opportunity. Especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The last time, obviously, we went to Wembley under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we beat Spurs 1-0. That was the last time we actually have. But I think for Solskjaer to get to a final of a cup competition, not just that, but to win the cup competition potentially, would be absolutely massive for us, and absolutely massive for him as well, who took a lot of stick in his kind of interim period, actually in the period just after he got given the job. He took a lot of stick for his performances, but for him to kind of come back and win a trophy at Wembley, win the FA Cup, would be a massive thing for us and a massive thing for him. And there is a chance we could do it. Obviously, Liverpool aren't in the FA Cup anymore, so it's just Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea, realistically, that we've got to contend with. And they have to get through their games as well. They're not foregone conclusions, especially, one-legged knockout football is never a foregone conclusion. So you never know who is going to be in the pot for the semi-finals. But obviously, if you had to, put your money on it now, it probably would be us, Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City. And they would create some very tasty semi-final ties indeed. So there's going to be a lot of competition for this FA Cup if we are going to win it, and that's what would make it even sweeter if we were to do it. So that's why I think we should be looking at the FA Cup as a bit of a priority at the moment. We should be looking to try and do the best we can. I don't think we need to play a super strong lineup, especially with the fact that Norwich aren't exactly in the richest vein of form at the moment. And you could argue they're a bit more focused on staying up in the Premier League, because in terms of monetary gain, for them to stay up in the Premier League, it's much better for them than to go down but win the FA Cup. So I think they'll be looking to stay in the Premier League by any means necessary. As I said, it's going to be difficult for them anyway, because they're going to have to pretty well win most of their games, or not drop too many more points to the end of the season, and then hope other teams do a job for them, which is it could happen. Obviously, teams down there can go on pretty poor losing streaks, but it's going to be difficult for them. I have to say, it's going to be difficult. But we'll wait and see what happens with that. But obviously, Norwich, I think, obviously, when you're in a quarter-final like that, you're always going to give it your all. And especially when, silverware is something that, your club hasn't really... You're basically, if you're a club that doesn't really win too much silverware and your club isn't too successful, when you're in a cup competition, when you're this far into the cup competition, you're going to take it seriously. You're going to want to see where it goes. And there is a potential for an upset here. Obviously, if I had to put my money on it, as I said, I would definitely go for Manchester United to win this one comfortably. But in the FA Cup, in these knockout competitions, it's about who wants it more on the day, who's fitter on the day, and who's got the more quality on the day. Now, all three of those things should be Manchester United, but you never know. All it takes is for one or two injuries, one or two players to be tired, or even just a defensive mistake, and it could gift them the win. So it's not a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination. This not a foregone conclusion at all. And I mean, they've got some players that could hurt us. Obviously, Todd Cantwell's got some talent. Someone that Manchester United reportedly has been looking at as well in the transfer window to potentially bring in. So obviously, you got Todd Cantwell, and they've just got some players who, have caused problems for big teams. Obviously, they beat Spurs to get through to this round as well. Obviously, it was on penalties, but to not lose to Spurs in normal time and in extra time, you have to give it to them. They know how to grind out results against big teams when it comes to it, and that is something that we've got to look out for. But ultimately, we should get the job done realistically. We've got the firepower. We should have enough firepower on the pitch, and even if we don't, we should have enough firepower to come off the bench to take Norwich out and move on to the semi-finals. And as I said, I'm confident going into this game. I am confident. But of course, you never really know with these FA Cup games, and that's what makes the FA Cup kind of special, is that even when you see a big team playing a team that isn't exactly, or a lower down team, you can never be 100% sure whether you're going to get who's going to win the game, who's going to get the result or not. So it's obviously the best thing about FA Cup football, best thing about knockout football, really. So we've got to be careful that we're not on the receiving end of it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we just gotta hope. Well, if I think they will look to attack us. I think they'll just kind of go for it. I feel like Norwich have nothing to lose in this situation. TTX, how you doing, man? Welcome to stream. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I think Norwich in this situation don't have too much to lose. As I said at the start, they are a team which are rooted to the bottom of the Premier League table. They're fighting for their lives down there, really, and they need points. But as obviously an FA Cup semi-final or an FA Cup final for Norwich would lift the fans' spirits no end. And even if they didn't win the tournament, I think they'd be very, very pleased with that. But I think for them, monetarily and just in general, staying in the Premier League has to be the number one thing that they need to focus on. And I think it's going to be difficult for them regardless, so they might think, well, it's going to be difficult for us to stay up anyway, we may as well just focus on the league. But I think for Norwich fans, staying in the Premier League is probably a lot more of a priority. But we'll see. I think Norwich are going to come out all guns blazing. They have nothing to lose. They're going to come at us, and you see, they probably don't even care if they lose 4 or 5-0. As long as they come at us and create chances, and I think they will do that, we need to hold firm and just take our chances when they come, like we did in the Sheffield United game. But as I said, I'm confident going into this game. Let me know your thoughts in the game. Are you guys confident going into this game? Obviously, we're on paper, I think we should be confident. But it's always worrying when we are confident. I feel like I'm much more calm and comfortable as a fan when I'm not confident going into a game, because when I'm not confident, I feel like there's nothing really to lose there, because as I said, you're not confident. You're thinking that the team aren't going to do well. So when they don't do well, you're not disappointed by it. So for me, I feel like, I think I'm confident going into this game. I think in terms of the way that Norwich play, I think in some ways it plays right into our hands. The fact that they don't like to just sit back like a Burnley or a Brighton and just soak up pressure. They like to come at you. They like to try and play good football. And for us, actually, that plays into our hands, because we are very much better at hitting teams on the counter-attack with our pace and power going forward. So for me, I think if Norwich play the way they usually do against top sides, or how they play against any side in the Premier League, I think we should come out with the win, and we should easily progress to the next round. But Norwich, as I said, you never know what you're going to get. You never quite know what you're going to get in these kind of rounds of the FA Cup. TTX says, we looked very comfortable and organised against Sheffield, and this is a Norwich team that sits at the bottom. Yeah, look, I'm not, I think we should be confident going into this game. Obviously, as I said, I sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable when we're confident, but I think at this point we do need to be, we can be confident, and we can be happy with the way our team's playing at the moment. Welcome Liam Martin, welcome, how are you doing? Thanks for joining, Liam, appreciate it, mate. Obviously come over from Daz's channel, but thanks for joining, Liam, appreciate it, mate. But yeah, look, we have to be confident going into it, and I just think if we play to the best of our ability, even with the changes that Ole's going to inevitably make for this game, if we play to the best of our ability, there's no reason why we can't win this game very, very comfortably indeed. I do believe that at the top level there's never a comfortable game, but Norwich obviously haven't had the best of times at the moment, so this could be it. Liam goes with a 3-0 win to Manchester United, same as Daz, of course. Liam goes with a 3-0 win, Martial, Bruno and Rashford to get on the score sheet. Well, I think if Martial or Rashford are going to score, it'll probably be from the subs bench. I feel like Solskjaer is going to make quite a few changes going into this game. And I feel like maybe we might see a start for someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. But Ole Gunnar has a very, very good record when starting games. I think he scored in every game that he started for Manchester United, so you've got to say that's a fantastic record. Martial's on red hot form, obviously scoring a hat-trick, first hat-trick since Robin van Persie, and Bruno Fernandes is just a quality player. So I think if we played all three of those players, we'd be looking very, very good. I think it'd be very, very difficult for Norwich to stop us. I think Solskjaer's going to look to change up the midfield, give the likes of McTominay and Fred a game, but for me, I think that midfield is still very much strong enough to beat this Norwich side. TTX says, I don't know about everyone else, but I want to see the exact team against Sheffield. The lads had enough time to rest. Well, look, I think if we saw the exact team we play against Sheffield, I think the game would be over very, very quickly, especially if they played the way that they did in that game, creating as many chances as they did. And if Norwich present the same sort of challenge that Sheffield did, which wasn't really a challenge, let's be honest. I think, yeah, I'd see us, kind of coming away with a very, very convincing victory indeed. I don't think he's going to play that same team because I feel like he doesn't want to risk the changes. I don't think he'll want to risk getting any sort of injuries or fatigue injuries. So I feel like he's going to make at least kind of 4 or 5 changes going into the game, and I would not blame him for that, especially because Norwich aren't exactly the best team. Obviously, the worst team in England's top league at the moment. So Liam says, what's your prediction, mate? I'll give my prediction towards the end of the live stream. Don't worry about that, mate. But to be honest with you, my prediction is probably going to be very similar to what you guys are saying. Very confident going into this one, really. Liam says, you joining Daz on stream tomorrow? You're going to do a watch long on your own stream? Well, I'm planning on doing a watch long on my own channel. So yeah, if you want to tune in for that, make sure you do. But yeah, I'll be doing a watch long on here, so if you want to tune into that. But I'll definitely, check in on Daz's stream. I always, I enjoyed doing his watch long on Thursday. Really, really good stuff on there. So Wednesday. So yeah, look, I'll definitely, join in on Daz's stream, and I'll definitely, see what's going on there. Hopefully the game will be pretty comfortable anyway. But you never know, of course. But yeah, it'll be good to hear what Daz thinks about the game. And obviously, if you haven't checked out Daz's channel already, make sure you do, because it's very, very good on there. Very, very good stuff on there. Make sure you do check it out. But yeah, if anyone's got anything they want to, bring up about the Norwich game, we've kind of talked about Norwich as a team. I think in terms of selection, there are some kind of debates. Obviously, Daniel James will probably start the game. He started against Spurs. A lot of people thinking Mason Greenwood is clear of Daniel James at the moment in terms of who should be starting. And I think I agree with him. I think Greenwood does pose a lot more of a threat than Daniel James. But I think this is one of the perfect games for Daniel James. We saw that in the fixture in the Premier League where he set up Rashford for the goal, and he was very, very good. Very, very good in that game. So for me, I think Daniel James is a perfect type of player for this game. But I could see potentially, James playing, Ole Gunnar playing as well, and even a youngster playing. So, I could definitely see that, definitely. Liam says, can you watch my video of my preview of this game? Would be great. My other video I uploaded today, which is my FA Cup quarter-final predictions. I'll definitely check it out. Check it out, Liam. And make sure you do check out Liam's video as well. If you are watching right now, make sure you do check it out. Liam says your 3 teams to go down to the Championship. Mine is Norwich, Bournemouth and West Ham. Well, look, I agree with you. I think those 3 teams look the most likely to go down. They're playing shocking football at the moment, realistically. I think West Ham will definitely go down. I don't see them turning it around. Bournemouth as well, they look dead and buried. I think that's a good shout, Liam. I'm going to be honest. I think that's a good shout. West Ham, Bournemouth and Norwich. I think that's a very, very good shout from you. Let me know what you guys think about the three teams that could go down as well. I agree with what Liam said. I think it'll be Norwich, Bournemouth and West Ham. But let me know your thoughts as well. But yeah, I'll give my team lineup actually now. I think it's time. It's time to give... Oh, no. I shouldn't have done that. It's time to give my lineup, my predicted lineup, I should say. So here it is. Here is my predicted lineup for the game against Norwich City. So I've gone with Sergio Romero in goal. Obviously, Sergio Romero is, I think, much more preferred to David De Gea in cup games. And I think Sergio Romero, obviously the best backup keeper in world football as well, has to get a start. I've gone with Diogo Dalot at right back. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, obviously starting both games, deserves a bit of a rest. I've kept Harry Maguire in the defence. I've kind of thought, at points his fitness hasn't been the best. So obviously getting more game time for Harry Maguire is probably a good idea. I put Eric Bailly next to him. I think I'm surprised that he hasn't actually featured in any of the games that we played so far. Obviously, he hasn't started any of them. Solskjaer has opted to go for Victor Lindelof as the first choice defender next to Harry Maguire. But I think Eric Bailly is better than Lindelof in my opinion. And I think he was better than Lindelof before the lockdown happened. So for me, I've gone with Eric Bailly there. Brandon Williams at left back. Left back, Brandon Williams at left back. Give Luke Shaw a rest as well. And actually, Brandon Williams is a decent left back in his own right as well. So for me, I've gone with Brandon Williams on the left. I've gone with McTominay, Fred and Mata as a midfield three. Give a rest to Matic, Bruno and Pogba. I think McTominay actually played quite well when he played against Spurs. Obviously didn't really feature against Sheffield. Came on as a substitute, but didn't actually play too many minutes in that game anyway. And I've gone with Fred next to him because I feel like, Fred, before the lockdown happened, was probably one of our best players. And he didn't play the best game against Spurs, I'll give you that. He wasn't brilliant against Spurs. He's probably one of the worst players on the pitch. But for me, Fred goes in there next to McTominay. Then I've gone with Juan Mata as well, just to give Bruno Fernandes a rest. And I think someone like Juan Mata will be the perfect player to fill his position. And then I've gone with a front three of James, Greenwood and Rashford. Now, it's kind of hit me now. I've kind of had the epiphany that Odion Ighalo could be starting over Marcus Rashford. I would not be surprised if Ighalo started over Marcus Rashford in this game. And I think that wouldn't be a bad decision. I think Ighalo is actually a really good player. And he's proven himself that every time he started, he scored, as I said. So I think, Ighalo could easily play instead of Rashford. Daniel James 100% will get a start. I'll eat my hat if Daniel James doesn't get a start. And I've gone with Mason Greenwood on the left-hand side. I mean, Greenwood can really play right or left-hand side because he is both-footed. So he has the ability to play both left and right-hand side as well. So I'm happy with that lineup. I'd be happy with that lineup for me. I think, Solskjaer, depending on how seriously he's going to take the FA Cup, he could look to bring in a few more strong players in the team than I have. But I'd be happy with that lineup. And I think that lineup would definitely, beat Norwich. I think it's got enough firepower in there to beat Norwich. But let me know your thoughts on the lineup there. Romero, Dalot, Maguire, Bailly, Williams, McTominay, Fred, Mata, James, Rashford and Greenwood. Let me know your thoughts on that. Graham, how are you doing, Graham? Thanks for joining. He says would play Mata in James' position and James playing on the left and Lingard in central midfield. Yeah, look, playing Lingard wouldn't be a bad decision really in this game. I think Lingard obviously is a player that's been bantered by Man United fans this pretty much the whole of this season really. In terms of options that can come in and do a job, especially against a team like Norwich, I think Lingard isn't the worst option to have. So I think, I see the logic in what you're saying, Graham, I do. And Mata, has seemed to play that right wing role a lot more often than he plays the central attacking midfield role. But obviously, we've got the luxury that he can play both roles. And for Chelsea, he was very much the central attacking midfielder. And obviously, that's where he won the Player of the Season award with Chelsea. But it's good to have that sort of freedom to play them in different positions like that. So yeah, I'm happy he can do that. And obviously, in the game, you can kind of switch positions. You can be a bit different like that. So yeah, I see the logic in what you're saying, Graham, as well. He also says even Pereira wouldn't be too bad, to be honest. Yeah, Pereira could definitely get in the team. I think Solskjaer does seem to favour Pereira as well. So I think Pereira would not be a bad shout at all getting into this side. And yeah, he's not the worst player. Obviously, he's not the best player, and we've seen that. But he's not the worst player. And I think in terms of a squad player, playing in these sort of games and doing a job for us is exactly what his job description is at this moment. Obviously, he's still got a few more years in his career to improve and potentially get into the first team. But can I realistically see Pereira being a permanent first team fixture? I'm not sure. So for me, I think at this moment in time, someone like a Pereira coming into the team is exactly what he's supposed to do right now. So yeah, Pereira's definitely a good shout from Graham there. Let me know if I've missed out any other players, you guys, if you're watching right now as well. And also make sure you leave a like if you aren't already as well. And yeah, just any thoughts you have going into this game, any kind of predictions or any other business as well. Please let me know your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Socials, Liam Martin's socials. Well, if you're talking about my socials, my Twitter is at Red Devil Weekly. It's in the description down below. I also have an Instagram as well, which is Red Devil Weekly TV. So if you want to check that out as well, make sure you do. T Chong, yeah, could do. Obviously, Angel Gomez as well, someone who hasn't really had that much regular game time at Manchester United over the past, over the season really. So I think Angel Gomez and Chong could potentially get a go in this game. I would not be surprised, especially Chong. Because again, he's another one of those young players that Solskjaer loves to get on the pitch. So yeah, I would not be surprised if Chong gets into this game. But yeah, look, I think we've got enough firepower to beat Norwich 100%. Doesn't matter if we play our first team or even our second string team. I think the way Norwich are playing right now, I am confident going into this one. But we need to take our chances early. I think we could potentially, get into a very early lead if we're ruthless with our chances. I think Norwich, if they are going to win this game or even take it to extra time, they're going to have to be very, very ruthless with the chances they make, and they're going to have to catch us cold on a set piece, because that's the only way I can realistically see Norwich scoring a goal, either a defensive mistake or a set piece, and I think they will use set pieces to their advantage quite a lot. Liam says my lineup would be Romero, Maguire, Lindelof, Bruno McTominay, Fred, James, Rashford, and Martial. Well, I mean, obviously you've got Bruno Fernandes in there. That team would be very much strong enough to win the game. I mean, that would be a very strong team there. Obviously, you've got Bruno Fernandes in there, Rashford and Martial. I mean, I think Rashford and Martial on their own would, scare the bejeebies out of that Norwich defence. So, maybe, obviously, if you want to be very, very safe about getting through to the semi-finals. But you've got to also think about the fact that the games are coming thick and fast right now, and we don't want any injuries. So that has got to come into consideration at some point. Graham says also the priority needs to be the league right now, so he has to rest maximum of the players he started versus Sheffield. And look, I think that sums up what I'm feeling really. I think the fact that we're only 5 points off Chelsea. Yes, it was a gutting result when Chelsea beat Man City. Man City couldn't even get a point against Chelsea. Couldn't even get a point. It's a pity. It really is a pity. But obviously we're only 5 points off Chelsea. We could still catch Leicester as well. Leicester is still within our reach, so there's a chance that we could still get Leicester. So we've got to focus on the Premier League, and I feel like if we do go on a really good win streak and we do start performing really, really strongly in the Premier League, there is a good chance that we could get top 4 here. So I think, it has to be we have to look at what our priorities are, what we should look at for our priorities. It's a response to Liam. Fair. Liam says, what time will your stream be tomorrow if you do it? Well, I'll probably start streaming very, very soon before the start of the game. It'll probably be like 5 minutes before the start. I'll probably go live. So yeah, there won't be too much build up really when I'm doing the watch along tomorrow. And by the way, if anyone is watching, I will be doing a watch along for the game against Norwich. One of my first watch alongs in a while. On this channel. We've done watch-alongs before, but they're few and far between really. I think the last watch-along we did on the channel was for when we got knocked out to Derby on penalties. So that was last season. We haven't even done one this season. So it's been a long time, but I really, really do enjoy doing the watch-alongs. They're really, really cool. I'll schedule it, mate. No worries, I'll schedule it. Don't worry about that. But yeah, you guys will see what I look like when I'm watching a match. That'll be good. That'll be interesting for you guys to watch. But anyway, I think it's time now to get into my score prediction for the game. So I'm going to get into my score prediction. Let me know your score predictions right now in the live chat. I want to see what you guys are thinking for this game. What are your score predictions? Let me know. And also, before you give your score predictions, make sure you hit that like button. Can we get to 10 likes? That'd be absolutely brilliant. Make sure to like it if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm going to get into my score prediction right now. Let me know your score predictions in the comments section. So yeah, my score prediction for the game. We've had a few that have already said 3-0. For me, I think it's going to be... For some reason, I can see Norwich scoring. Obviously, they're at home. There isn't any fans, but still. I think Norwich could potentially, score a goal against us. I am confident going into it. I feel like it's going to be a 3-1 win to Manchester United, the same as it was in the Premier League. And I don't think we're going to have to work that hard to win the game. I think Norwich are going to turn up. They always seem to turn up in these sort of games. But if we take our chances, in the Premier League game, we missed 2 penalties. We could have finished the game 5-1. So with that in mind as well, and the fact that Norwich are playing shocking at the moment and we're playing some decent football, I'm feeling a 3-1 win to Manchester United. I can't tell you who the goal scorers are because I feel like there's going to be a lot of changes made to the team. So I'm going to go with 3-1 United. I'm confident going into it. Graham goes with 2-1. Liam obviously goes with a 3-0. Daz went with a 3-0 earlier on in the stream. So yeah, I think we're all excited for this game. We're excited to, potentially get through to the next round of the FA Cup. Have a trip to Wembley as well. We haven't had a trip to Wembley since the 17-18 season when we lost to Chelsea. So actually, as Graham says there, if we beat Chelsea a 4th time, that'd be amazing. But if we beat Chelsea in the final as well, that would be an incredible, that'd be so sweet. That'd be so sweet if we actually beat Chelsea in the final of the FA Cup to get revenge of 2 years ago. That'd be amazing. Welcome Mo Hersey. Welcome Mo. Thanks for joining as always. Really appreciate it. He says, I don't care about effing FA Cup and top 4. We need to win the Europa League. And obviously we're still sort of in it, in my opinion, in the Premier League. Obviously that result last night did not help us one bit. But I still believe we are in it somewhat for the fight for the top 4 in the Premier League. But I do agree that the Europa League is increasingly looking more like our best chance of getting into the top 4 next season. But saying that, he goes the very comfortable 4-0 win to Manchester United. So yeah, everyone in this chat right now seems to be very confident going into the game that we can get 3 points and that we should, not 3 points, that we should go through to the semi-final of the FA Cup. And if we go through the semi-final, we'll probably be faced with either Arsenal, Chelsea or Man City. So it's going to be a very tasty tie, whatever happens in the semi-final. But we have to get through, and obviously football's not played on paper. It could be a more difficult game than it seems. So we've got to just take our chances and we'll win the game. Simple as that. Hopefully we take an early lead as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you're thinking on the game. Liam says, I want to face either Sheffield United or Arsenal in the semis. Yeah, look, facing Arsenal in the semis is a bit of a worrying prospect because even though they're not great, they're playing shocking at the moment, you just know if they played us, they would play their socks off, they would turn up, and they would make it so difficult for us. And because they love playing against us, they love turning up against us. That's what they do. So I feel like if we played Arsenal, it would be a bit of a worrying prospect, but I feel confident that we could get the win. But anyway, I'm going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Really appreciate it. We'll be doing my watch along tomorrow, so make sure you tune into the channel just before the game starts at 5:30. Make sure you're tuned into the channel. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Stay safe. Have a good rest of your Friday night. And I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you later.